Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to Beyond the Grind podcast. I'm your host, Awais Raf, and I've not done a podcast in a while, but alhamdulillah, I'm back. And before tuning into the video, make sure you subscribe and watch the rest of my podcasts on TikTok, Instagram. I'm everywhere, so make sure you stay tuned in. Usually what I do is I introduce the guest myself, but I want you to introduce yourself. So, who are you? What's your name? Who are you and what do you do?
So my name is Usman Aslam. I'm an online coach and a personal trainer.
Okay, personal trainer. So, from what I know, is I've had you on social media for over a decade easy.
Yeah.
So I'm 26 right now. So since I was 13, 14, I've seen you posting, let's just say, pictures of you flexing and shit in the gym and literally just going ham in the gym non-stop. Yeah. So the first thing I like to kind of get across is, where did the whole passion come from starting going to the gym at such a young age? Because people like myself was just thinking about the next COD game and you was there smashing it in the gym. So where did the whole kind of thing come from about gym?
I think it started just when I finished my GCSEs. I've always sort of had that thing where I wanted to gain muscle, gain size, but it was always difficult when I was in school. So as soon as I finished my school GCSEs exams finished, I was like, okay, I've got a few months now until I start college. What do I do? First thing was join a gym and just start from there. I had my boy O'Neil Malik. I've always shouted him out. He's the one who got me into the gym, got me sort of training, and then from there it's just been a dedication since.
So when you went to the gym, did you have, just like everyone else, I'm assuming, people go to the gym, they have no idea what they're doing at the start. Did you have any clue at the start, any research, nothing, or you just...
No idea. The only thing I knew was press-ups and hardly any pull-ups. From there, it was just sort of going in with my friend O'Neil and just listening to him, seeing how he does a certain exercise and just learning from there.
What about any personal trainers? Did you kind of hire anyone, or was O'Neil your
At the time, I think
trainer?
O'Neil was my personal trainer. He was my friend anyway, so he was like, okay, today we're doing chest, this is how you do chest, this is how you do bench. Obviously, when I started, I never knew any of these movements, didn't know how to exercise, I didn't know what deadlift was, squat, etc., how many reps to do sets. So we just sort of learned from there. We went for about 2 years straight. So throughout college, just kept going, just did a massive 2-year bulk and sort of learned from there.
So, all right, fair enough. So when you first started gym, did you ever weigh yourself? Did you know how much kg you was or anything?
I was roughly about 56 kg.
56,
yeah,
man.
Almost anorexic level.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I weighed in around 56, 58. I remember a few days before actually joining the gym, I just wanted to know what I was weighing in because I just wanted to get bigger and bigger. I took a few pictures as well, and I thought, you know what, this is going to be a start to something big, hopefully. And it just was. Everything just clicked.
So what year exactly? Do you remember what year was this when you was 56 kg?
2013.
Wow.
So July 2013, we finished GCSEs, and then at that time I joined the gym.
So that was July 2013. So when did you get, so obviously you was bulking there, you want to get bigger. What exactly did you get to? 70 plus or?
I got to about 81. So it was just a massive 2-year bulk. All I wanted to do is just gain strength, gain size, whether it was by eating takeaways, because at that point that was my mindset. I just wanted to get bigger as strong as possible. I tried to do a healthy bulk at that point, but I was physically too active. I used to play cricket, football, rugby, table tennis, any sport, you name it. So I was really just burning all these calories. So I just ended up doing a dirty bulk. I bulked up to about 20 kilos up. Gained a lot of size.
But then when you dirty bulk, does it depend on how you train? Because there's times I've dirty bulk and I've gone to the gym, but I just look fat as fuck. So I don't know. Would you say that depends on how you train as well?
I mean, 100%. I think when you are dirty bulking, all you're doing is just getting extra calories in than you are used to. And if you're not training right, if you don't know what muscle groups to hit, if you don't know how heavy you're going for, if I'm overeating in my calories, I want to be training 10 times heavier than I usually do. So just because you have extra energy in you, extra calories, it'll help you gain strength. So I've always thought to myself, I always wanted to train for strength. So on deadlift, I started off about 120 kilos and I was going up, and I thought I just want to smash out around 200 kg deadlifts. I want to be benching a certain amount, and that calorie surplus did really help. So yeah, I think it is the way you train, but
Yep.
I won't lie, I did get really fat as well, but it was a lot of muscle mass
Yeah.
underneath. So I've got Instagram posts to show. So where I started and now I got to, it was a lot of fat as well. So I think you gain that, but I think you gain a lot more other things as well. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So would you say it's important to track exactly how much you're lifting per week? Like, for example, I've got a bad habit of,
Yeah.
I don't know why I always fall ill literally every week. So I stopped going to the gym for a while. So when I'm back in the gym, right now I've been 7-8 weeks consistent, and sometimes I stay on the same weight because I'll get too lazy to track it. Would you say it's important to write things down, or do you just just go there, lift whatever you're feeling?
I think it is important if you know what your goal is. If, for example, you want to get leaner, you want to write down what sort of weights you're doing. You want to write down how much calories you're on roughly. It's just a rough estimate, and then from there you can take it on. For example, I track my weight every single day, even when I'm bulking or cutting. I track my meals. Now I already know I don't need to measure everything out, but I sort of know how much protein I'm hitting, how much calories, how much carbs, etc. It's good to have a rough figure. I don't, unless you're competing, I don't think you need to write everything down, count every single calorie, because there's just no need. But it just depends on your goal, really. If you're just trying to put on strength, like I said, progressive overload. If you just want to improve on your deadlifts, you'd want to write down, okay, in January 2025, I was on 120 kg deadlifts. In February, I got to 125. In March, April. So you just have a rough figure of what you're trying to
All right,
achieve.
that's
really.
fair enough. What about, there's obviously days where you go to a gym and you're not motivated or anything. You can't be asked as a lazy day.
Yeah.
Do you still give that 110%, or do you just be like, I'm just going to take a chill pill and just lift a bit light today?
Yeah.
Or do you just go crack on?
I think some days you do have where, for example, if you're working 9 to 5 and you are a bit exhausted and you can't get a heavy session in, 100%, I do take it a little bit lighter. For me, it's not really motivation to go to the gym. It feels like it's just a necessity. I go to the gym, I make sure I get my workout in. Sometimes, obviously, it's not a great workout, but I still make sure I get a workout in, even if it's light weights, even if I'm trying to focus on more reps. I'll just continue with that.
Okay, fair enough. What would you say is your best workout day? Chest, back, shoulders, legs,
Back.
whatever. Why is that back?
Deadlift, heaviest I can lift. Well, to be honest, everyone naturally should be able to deadlift a lot of weight. So I deadlift over 250 kilos now. So that's just my favorite exercise. Just lifting the bar off the floor, just the feeling that you get, the head rush, everything about it.
So
and
do
it
you
gives you a
use
crazy pump?
Do you use a belt around yourself, or
90% of the times I don't use a belt. It's when I'm hitting over about 220 kilos just to get a bit more stability. But I do try to focus on sort of strengthening my core without the belt. So 90% of the times I don't use a belt. Once I go over about 200, 220, then I start to use a belt, because it does get a bit.
what about if there's someone, and I'm actually referring to myself, where I really want to do deadlifts, but I've got such a bad hunchback, and the form is just like, when your back is rounded pretty much. My back is rounded, I'm trying to lift it. Does that prevent injury? Like, would that cause injury? Or
the only issue with a rounded back is when your back's rounded like that, there's discs in between, and these discs can easily slip out. That's the only issue with it. When you have a straighter back, when you're deadlifting, these discs inside are fully locked in, they're compressed together. So that's the only issue. I won't worry about it too much for someone who's just starting off, just because if you're lifting 20, 30 kg, your disc shouldn't pop. It's not going to make a massive difference.
Of course.
But if you do look at power lifters who are lifting 300-400 kg, their back does round off. So it's not an issue. I think, obviously, I personally think your back should be a little bit more straighter, but you can work on that. I think naturally some people are a lot more hunchback, so the shoulders are rounded off. That's what gives you that natural sort of hunchback when you're deadlifting. But I don't think it's a massive issue unless your back is fully bent and then you're trying to lift it.
Okay, fair enough.
So definitely work on the form.
Definitely will keep that in mind. So after let's just say every set, how long do you take in breaks in between? Because from what I read, some people say you have to take around 3 minutes. Usually I keep a minute and a half. Does that depend, or?
I train very intensely, so my breaks are 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
That's it?
That's like me, for example, if I'm benching, done a few reps, I put the bench bar back, I've had a quick sip of water, add the next weight, give it 5-10 seconds, and the next set.
Don't you get knackered like that though?
But that's what intensity does. So I'm in the gym 2 hours. I want to be able to hit 2 hours. If I'm taking 3-minute breaks, that's not me getting a good enough pump. I'm not stressing my muscles enough. So yeah, I always stay with the intensity. I know people take a lot longer on, especially on like deadlifts and squats, which you can take a little bit longer. Yeah. Well, 3 minutes that's a bit too.
Actually, 3 minutes yesterday.
Is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Unless you're going through some hardship.
Do you know what it is? Is sometimes the phone is addicting. That's the problem, and this is why, for the past I'd say week, I've kind of put my phone on do not disturb as soon as I go to the gym, because
100%.
As soon as you finish a set, just checking WhatsApp or whatever. Do you find yourself doing that, or?
No, mine is just the music. The only thing I've got is just the music app. Just change the music and that's it. I know for a fact I'm not getting any calls, messages, anything.
What kind of music are you listening to? Bollywood or what?
I've got quite a few playlists. I don't want to share everything on here, but yeah, there's a few different playlists for different things. I've got a few podcasts when I'm doing cardio. I've got a few audiobooks that I listen to just to sort of get myself going, and then I've got a few more when I'm doing my heavy sets.
Okay, talking about cardio, I see a lot of your snaps where you're just smashing out cardio. Why would you say cardio is important, even whether you're bulking or cutting? Because sometimes, for example, a lot of people, when they are bulking, they try to minus cardio because they don't want to lose that extra weight or something. So what would you say to that?
I think that's one of my biggest mistakes I made when I did my first bulk. Is I just ended all cardio. I didn't even step on the treadmill, did not step on any CrossFit, anything like that.
Wow.
And I feel like it was a massive mistake by me, just because when I did start to cut down, my cardiovascular health was very bad. So as soon as I try running for a few minutes, I'm tired just because I'm holding on to an extra 10, 15 kilos of weight. So it's always important to do cardio, not just because you want to lose fat, it's just because of your cardiovascular health, your heart, your lungs, etc. So I'd always suggest it. I mean, when you're bulking, you don't need to go as much. You can still do a quick 5-minute jog, even if it's on the Stairmaster. And then obviously when you're cutting down, you need to add a bit more. So when I'm cutting down right now, I am hitting about 30 to 45 minutes cardio. Sometimes it's on the Stairmaster, sometimes on the treadmill. So just to burn extra bit of fat, really. Do
you prefer outside running or like treadmill, etc.?
Personally, I prefer treadmill just because I'm just comfortable, especially with the weather in England. You never know if it's raining, if it's cold, and sometimes you'd want to go for a jog, but it's ended up raining, and it's like it just ruins your whole mood. So I prefer it on the treadmill where I've got my YouTube on, or if I've got my Netflix on. Podcast or anything. I'm comfortable. I can run at my own pace. I can check how much calories I burned, what distance I've run, and it's just less likely to get injury.
Okay, fair enough.
As well.
Do you take any supplements? I know they're important, like let's say lion's mane, chilogene, etc. Like, do you take any of these things?
To be honest, no. I'm not a massive supplement person. The only thing I've got is protein, and that's gold standard whey protein, which I have probably 3-4 times a week, and that's if I've not hit my protein sort of intake during that day. I think I'll just run back to my protein and have that. Supplement wise, not really. Don't really take much supplements. I know a lot of people take creatine, BCAAs, pre-workout. Sorry, I do take pre-workout, especially on my chest, legs, and back. Just because I'm going really heavy, really intense, and I feel like I need a bit of extra caffeine just to get me going and to get a good pump. Apart from that, no. I know a lot of people do recommend taking it, but I feel like I get enough protein in, I get enough carbs, I get enough fats from my foods. So I personally don't think I really need it.
Makes sense. What about, have you ever had mass gainers before? The classic big one.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Because some people say is good for bulking because the amount of calories there are, but some people say it's just full of sugars and it's BS and it just gets you fat pretty much. So what's your thoughts on that?
Mass gainers, I actually started on a mass gainer. So I went first 2 months into the gym, I was struggling to put on weight, and because I was up to a point where I was almost anorexic, I did need something to help me get extra calories in without physically eating, just because physically eating is so much harder. You get full quicker. But with a mass gainer, it's just a drink. You can drink it in 5 seconds and you got an extra 1,000 calories. So I did actually start on a mass gainer. I do recommend it to people who are really struggling to put on weight, just because you're hitting your protein, you're hitting your carbs. I know most of it is full of sugars, but if you're struggling to eat, it's the best way. That's the reason why. That's the reason why they made mass gainers for people who struggle.
That's literally myself. I just sometimes can't be asked to eat. So
that's the difference. I mean, if you can get your protein in from a milkshake rather than a half a chicken, and it's easier to hit it from a protein shake, why not?
What about these apps like MyFitnessPal? Is it MyFitnessPal?
MyFitnessPal, yeah.
Cal.ai, all these things like.
Cal.ai, bullshit.
I'm so annoyed. I spent a membership on it for no reason.
You know what? A lot of people you see on Instagram, they're posting Cal.ai.
Yeah.
They've all been sponsored. They all get paid to post these videos, and there's contracts over there for influencers. That's why they're pushing this massively.
What if they come to you right now and say we're sponsoring you?
I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. No,
wow.
Just because you're spreading misinformation.
Yeah.
People have got a bit of rice, a bit of chicken, and a bit of vegetable on their plate, and a picture can generate how much calories and protein it has.
To be honest, I was so
if you
stupid
fry
for
that place, if you fry that chicken, if you use butter, if you use olive oil, calories are different. If you've used different sort of rice, I'm sure you can't detect basmati rice, white rice. There's a million different types of rice.
Of course, yeah.
A million different types of ways you can cook a chicken. I just genuinely don't understand how a camera can figure out how much macros are in
What would you say is the best app?
Best app just for tracking calories, I think. In general, I think MyFitnessPal is pretty accurate, just because it's got a barcode scanner as well. So you know, if you're picking up, let's just say a Tesco meal deal, you grab it, you just scan it, and it tells you exactly what it is. If it's a barcode, it'll be pretty much accurate, just because it's got all the information at the back of the packet, so you can compare. I've done that just to get a rough figure as well. And it is really good just to sort of understand what kind of what kind of macros are in your foods. I wouldn't heavily rely on it as your only tool, but if someone's new, someone wants to learn what calories are, protein is, it is really good to just get something, and it's free.
Of course.
Why not?
The thing is, I'm dying to track my food, but obviously when it's home cooked food, I don't know how can I track that. I'm sure, I don't know if there's kind of some, I don't know if you can get something on Amazon where you put the plate on top of it and it kind of can scan the calories. I don't know if that's possible or not.
I mean, home cooked food. Are you talking about curries? Are you talking about?
I'm talking about, let's just say, if I make half chicken in the oven with a bit of, let's say, rice or something. Obviously, people estimate half chicken. Is it 800 calories? People estimate. But I don't know if I can ever get like a full exact how much is going to be. Or
I don't think you need an exact measurement. That's the thing about calories and macros. I don't think you need to be that precise to a point where you're like, oh, I've overbaked my chicken, or I might have lost a few calories here and there. So I don't think you need to be fully focused on that. I think it's just a rough estimate of what you're eating, how much calories it has. I don't track absolutely everything. I know rough figures, and it works for me, and I think it'll work for a lot of people who sort of understand nutrition, who understand protein, etc. So it all depends on your goal as well, really. So if you're trying to hit 150 grams of protein and you're worried about, the chicken's got 800 calories and only 80 grams of protein, I still need to hit, that's more than enough for you. You can still sort of hit your protein intake. It's not going to make a massive difference. Well, if you are talking about home cooked food like curries,
my neck was fucking hurting.
My neck says, "This is hard, man. You can't fucking look straight." That's why I had to turn around, just so I can look that way.
I'm leaving that in. My neck is flipping every time I'm looking at it. Yo, Ali, what have you done to this place, man?
Yeah, man. But yeah, if you are talking about curries and etc., then it is very, very hard to get a rough estimate, just because your mum's never going to weigh out, or whoever's cooking, they're not going to weigh out, how much oil's going in, how much masala are going in, how much curry powder's going in, how much onions, etc. They will never do it. Theirs is it's just traditional, really, isn't it? They just get a few ingredients, put them in the pan and start cooking. So you can never really estimate how much calories are in there.
My neck is fucking. It's actually I'm losing focus.
Yeah,
flipping hell. Mad. Okay, so what I want to ask also is, you've obviously, first of all, I want to ask, do you prefer bulking or cutting, or does that just depend on the season?
The way you look on a cut, you can never beat that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to food, if you're a foodie and you're bulking, that's the best way I can describe it. So if you love food, you'll love bulking. But if you want to look amazing, look the best you've ever looked, once you're actually in a state of cutting, when you're lean, there's no other feeling.
All right,
Do you know
fair
what I mean?
enough.
So it just depends on you, really.
You've had that six-pack, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you still have one now, or?
Currently, I'm on a 4-pack. So
Okay. So how's that
still
feeling?
got a little bit left
Because
to go.
obviously, I love to get a six-pack. How is that feeling? You wake up, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're like, mad. I got this. Like, does it ever gas you up? Like, yo, I've worked so flipping hard in the gym and I've got this.
You know what? It does, yeah.
Or is it overrated?
It's not overrated. You can never wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror, and you look like you're in great shape.
Yeah.
I think physically it mentally gives you a massive boost. Gives you, it gives you a big morale jump. And yeah, it's because of your hard work, really. I don't look at it and be like, oh, I just gifted it. I didn't wake up with it. It's over time. You genuinely look at yourself in the mirror, especially now I'm on a cut. Every day I wake up, obviously look at myself, weigh myself, and I see the changes appearing. So it's like sometimes it's a bit frustrating because your weight's going up and down, and then sometimes it's like, oh wow, I'm actually making progress. And then once you actually do get to that stage, you're like, it's been 12 weeks or whatever, and now I've actually hit my goal, and it's just a massive satisfaction.
So we're probably going to come back to that, but I want to talk more about your online coaching, and I want to know, is it the same as PT? Or is it a bit different? Because I don't know how long you've been doing online coaching for, but I've seen you posting it on your socials. So yeah, tell us a bit about that.
So yeah, personal training and online coaching is completely different. In personal training, you basically hired me out for an hour for a few sessions, and we're working on your form. We're helping you with your workout and pushing you throughout your workout, really. And it's basically just me in the gym with you, helping you. And with online coaching, it's completely different. This is where you hire me as a coach for a month, 1 month to up to 6 months, depending on your goals. And we basically set up a tailored workout plan for you, something that fits your weekly schedule, a diet plan that fits your goals as well. So for example, if you're cutting down, we make sure your calories are right, you got your calories right, you got your protein intake correct, and we've got your workouts correct. And then I provide an app which I keep all my clients on there. And yeah, they basically log in all their workouts that they've done, which I've set out for them, all their meals, and I basically coach them throughout. And it's a lot different. It's a bit more personal, especially with the diet, because a lot of people, when they do go to the gym and they think they want to hire a personal trainer, but realistically they want more help with their diet. So that's where online coaching is a lot different. And with online coaching, I can help a lot more people out in the space of an hour rather than just focusing on one person. So it is quite different, but it is more, it has more impact, I would say.
What's your main goal with this whole online coaching thing? Is it something that, let's just say, like, there's a few online coaches I follow and they've, let's just say, moved from England to Dubai. Is that one of your main goals, to move abroad with this online coaching gear, or is it just try to establish yourself, do what you can here, and then probably build from there?
So the goal is to sort of scale the online coaching business. Currently I'm on 10 active online clients, and sort of scaled up to 20, 30 and 40, and in the future maybe 100 plus clients. And it's all achievable through online coaching, especially with the app setouts, with the workout setups. It is possible to have a lot more clients, and it's a lot different to, again, personal training, where I won't be able to fit in 100 hours a week into obviously one-to-one sessions. So yeah, the goal is to sort of scale up, build on that, and that would be my full-time sort of hobby.
Okay, so do you ever have like, okay, they send you a picture of what they eat, for example, what you said, and what they're training on. Do you have like a phone call where you kind of speak to them one-to-one, like a private call and kind of speak to them in that way? Or?
Yeah, so initially we have a consultation call at the start just to go through their goals, aspirations, what's motivating them, why they want to change, why now basically, what's the reason they've reached out to me, and then we go on from there. I will basically tailor a plan out to them, see if it fits their needs, and once they're ready, we start, and then I basically have a week. Every week we have a call with them. So every week I have a check-in call with the clients to see how they're going, how they're feeling about the diet, how they're feeling about the workouts. Is there anything we can change? Is there anything we can alter? Because I can see everything that they're doing, everything they're eating. So we get their weight checks as well. So
So is this like a kind of a plan where it's as long as they want to, or is it a 3-month plan? 5 months, I don't know how much.
So currently we've got 3 months plans and we've got 6 months plans. It depends on the individual. For example, someone who's 80 kilos and wants to get leaner to around 70 kilos, it's going to be a little bit difficult doing it in 3 months. We might be able to give them a 6 months plan. If someone who's trying to just put on some size and understand nutrition a bit more, they might need a 3-month plan. So it just all depends on the client's goals and needs.
Okay, fair enough. Where would you say you kind of, let's just say, learned all this knowledge from in terms of gym, fitness, advising people, etc.? Did you do any kind of courses or anything, or was it just you kind of self-learned to yourself by just constantly going to gym and I guess learning from others?
I think now obviously I'm around 12, 13 years into the gym, into the fitness, and because it's my lifestyle now, it's something I do on a regular basis. I have to sort of understand, I have to learn as I go along, learn workouts, learn nutrition, learn how my body works, and obviously working with other clients, how their body reacts, and sort of get an overall understanding of that. But also when I did my level 3 personal training course, I learned a lot about nutrition, a lot about diabetics, a lot about calorie intakes, your respiratory system. So you learn quite a lot of things from books, you learn a lot of things from audiobooks, you learn a lot of things from other people that you reach out to. For example, a lot of bodybuilding stuff I've learned is from previous bodybuilders who've had podcasts, etc. Learn from them. If I want to understand nutrition, there's a lot of knowledge out there. So it's mainly just going out there and just learning and absorbing everything in.
Okay, fair enough. So there's so many online coaches out there in the world that do this, try to make it, let's say, a side hustle and build it from there. Why should people choose yours? Like, what would you say is one couple of good qualities about yours that people should come to you instead of others?
I know there's great coaches out there. There's coaches that have trained for 20, 30, 40 plus years with vast amount of knowledge. I don't want to downplay anyone, but I think when people that know me, people that have been following me on Instagram, on Snapchat, etc. for a while, they know who I am, they know how hard I've worked, they know I've kept it 100% throughout my journey. So when I started back in 2013, I've been posting ever since. So every single post that's on my Instagram, you can scroll through. Even through COVID, I was posting, doing home workouts, sort of evolving and just learning, understanding. So I'm different. I'm someone who's into fitness, someone who knows fitness inside out, someone who can I've got a lot of clients that I've helped out as well on online coaching and one-to-one. I've built a good portfolio for myself. So I think the proof's in the pudding, really. Everything's out there on my Instagram. So if you do want to reach out to me, give me a message on Instagram.
Right. So do you have a cheat day? In fact, that's what I want to ask. Do you have a cheat day?
Of course I do. 100%.
Every Sunday, just like everyone else, or?
I think right now, every 2 weeks I have a cheat day. So it's not just a cheat meal; it's a full day where I'm upping my carbs, having whatever I want.
Does that include pizzas and everything, or?
Yeah, it does. Weird thing is, I don't really like takeaways as much, like especially pizzas and kebabs and burgers, and even like chocolates and desserts. I'm not a massive fan of them. But every 2 weeks right now in my cutting phase, every 2 weeks have a full cheat day, just to sort of have a refeed day, get my body back to normal nutrition, and then back to cutting again.
Okay, fair enough. And just to quickly go back on, since you're cutting, you said,
Yeah.
what body percent do you need to get abs? Is there a certain percent you need? Is it 12 or under?
I think at 12% and under, you see pretty much all your abs coming through. Under 10%, you'll be ridiculously lean veins. You should have all your six pack coming out. But yeah, 12% to 10%, you should definitely see your abs. If you're about 15%, you'll see the outline. You'll see that they're there, but they won't be as defined. If you know what I mean.
What about in terms, because obviously when you are trying to get abs and get leaner, you are cutting weight, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you need to do a lot of high volume weights when you're lifting weights, like on your chest or back day, or do you like just work out however the hell you want, pretty much?
So a lot of people have this misconception where when they start to cut down, they don't strength train as much. They do more volume and they do more reps, and that's something that I don't do. I still stick to the basics, where I'm still trying to put on strength, or I'm still trying to gain size and muscle, which is by strength training. So once you, for example, if you're benching 100 kg on your bulk and you're cutting down and you're only doing 80, your muscles never really going to that level of failure where it's hit 100 before. So eventually you will start to lose muscle. So you get that quite a lot, where people don't train as hard and heavy when they're on their cut. And I understand, because people are low on energy, because they're obviously in a calorie deficit, but you still need to be training a lot harder so you don't lose your muscle.
What about sets? Because at the moment, when I first started gym, I was doing 5 sets. Now I just do 3. What do you do? Because I've seen a lot of people that have got really good bodies that just do 2 sets and a lot of reps. Like, what exactly is working for you right now?
I think there's no magic number to how many sets and how many reps you do. I think it just all depends on the day, how you fatigued your chest or your back or your shoulders, so each muscle group that you're hitting. If you can fatigue your chest in 2 sets when you're doing 15 reps each, I understand that's completely fine. And it depends on what you're training for. Again, if you're training for high volume, I'd personally stay with 2 or 3 sets and just try doing as many reps as possible on that. If you're training for strength, I'll do more sets, and I'll build up to it, but obviously do less reps. So I don't think there's a magic number for it. It depends on what your goal is. If you really want to sort of build for strength, or you want to do volume.
Okay, fair enough. I want to, because we've gone to a lot of gym topics and everything, I want to move away from that just slightly a bit. What does Usman do for a hobby? Like, what's your hobby? Like, do you do anything? Do you play any sports, or, I don't know, go out, travel? What exactly do you do in your spare time?
Spare time, I watch a lot of football. I play a lot of football. We play regularly 5-a-side. I'm known to be a world-class striker.
Rating's always 9+.
I've been known to be a very good footballer from young. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of football.
So football, what else do you do?
So yeah, I'm working on my car. And then yeah, just family time, really, family and friends.
What's your favourite car, since you said you love cars?
My favourite car of all time?
I would say if you could...
That's a tough question.
I'd say if you could choose any car to be parked outside your house in the next 30 minutes, that's yours forever, what car would that be?
Probably a 6x6 G-Wagon.
6x6 G-Wagon, wow. Have you ever had one?
No, I wish.
Imagine that.
I don't think I've seen one in person in London, and that's it. Because they're so rare and because they're so big. Yeah, they don't make many of them, so it's not something you see all the time.
No, that's it. Talking about football, you obviously support Liverpool Football Club, Premier League champions,
that's
of course.
It. 2025 champions.
Just a quick question. What do you think about your new signing, man? 160 million or something. That's I feel like that's crazy.
I think it's 160 million pounds, but in euros it obviously equates to a lot more. And a lot of that is add-ons. So it's not like we're directly paying Bayern Leverkusen the whole money.
Don't you think that's mad? Or
it is a lot of money, 100%. I mean, 100 million to any person, any person.
I mean, Anthony was 100 million, isn't it?
But that's the thing. I think players nowadays, football's changing. I mean, back in the days, £100 million bought you Cristiano Ronaldo, the
Literally.
greatest, the GOAT.
Now buys you Anthony.
Now buys you Anthony. So yeah, I mean, football's changing. But I think because he's young, I think he's world class. I mean, that kind of price tag is a lot of players are on that price tag.
What about next season? You see yourself Premier League, Champions League?
I think if we sign a striker, I see ourselves going for Premier League and Champions League. I think if we don't sign a striker, we'll still end up winning the Premier League because I feel like we've got the strongest team. Man City obviously.
They've been signing a lot of players.
Yeah, they've signed quite a few players, but I think we'll do it again.
What about Manchester United? Thoughts on them?
I'll be completely honest. I think he'll struggle to get Europa. I think he'll finish 6th, 7th, 8th.
Can't even put it past it anymore after last season.
Exactly. I mean, it's not looking great, is it? When you finish 15th without a trophy and you're not going to jump 10 positions.
That night when we lost the Europa League, felt like crying. I remember. Hamza's ears.
I was laughing though.
Half ears went red. Half ears went red. Yeah, that was mental. What about traveling? I've seen you kind of travel here and there. Where's the most favorite place you've traveled to since you have been traveling?
Best place I've traveled to is probably last year when I went to Bali.
Bali, wow.
Bali,
you've been
what
there?
A place, yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, Bali. That was my honeymoon. So we went to Dubai, we went to Singapore, then we went to Bali. So it was a 3-week trip. But Bali just topped it off. The tropical weather, the food.
It just looks like a picture, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's just something that you've never seen. Until you go there, I don't think you realise how beautiful it is. And yeah, it's just the vibe that you get. Everything's just so relaxing. There's just no stress, and it's just greenery everywhere.
What about Dubai? Because I did hear that when you went, it was flipping boiling.
Yeah.
I did hear.
When I went, it was about 42 degrees, and we went to the beach and we walked into the sea and it was boiling hot.
Wow.
The water was actually boiling hot.
Way,
we stepped on the tiles.
Well.
Yeah, we stepped on the tiles and the tiles were just absolutely burning.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it's like as soon as you walk out of your hotel, before you even get into the car, you're sweating.
Wow.
So within that 5 seconds, it's a bit too extreme. I think even at night. Yeah, it's a bit too much. I wasn't ready for it.
What about Singapore? Is that somewhere you'd visit again, or?
Singapore, I'd definitely visit again. I think we only had a few days there. It was really nice, but it's very, very expensive. Very, very expensive. Very small, obviously, country. But yeah, it was beautiful. We did quite a few things.
All right, fair enough. So, quickly, just back online on the online coaching.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, what kind of clients do you have right now? Are they people trying to lose weight, gain weight, or just sustain themselves a bit? So, yeah, what kind of clients have you got?
So I've got a variety of clients ranging from 18 all the way up to my eldest clients we've got is about 52, around 52. So a variety of clients with all different goals. Every single person is completely different from each other. For example, I've got a student who's at university who likes to party on the weekends, who likes to go out, etc. And it's every day is quite different. I've got a client who's doing 9 to 5 and he has a set routine, wakes up at a certain time, goes to work, comes back home, chills, etc. So yeah, every single person is different. Clients are completely different to each other. I've got male and female, and yeah, it is. I mean, I have to sort of make plans tailored to every single person, and every person is obviously, as I said before, completely different to each other. So it is quite complex.
So when how do these clients that you got, let's say if I was your client, how do I reach out to you? Is it some kind of journal or something? Because I did kind of see, is it some journal where I add my food and tell you exactly what my weight is and what I'm training on? Is it like a journal or?
So on the actual app, if I've got you as a client on the actual app, I've set a daily meal plan for you. So for example, breakfast you're having overnight oats, lunch you're having chicken with mixed rice, etc. And so you will basically take a picture of everything that you eat and you post it on there, and I see that you're actually eating it. It's just to keep on top of everything. I can understand some clients will do something, but then they'd be too scared to sort of tell me that they've ate this or they've ate that. But I want my clients to be completely transparent with me. I want them to sort of understand that I'm actually helping them rather than making them feel bad or anything like that. So yeah, they basically log all their food, their breakfast, lunch, dinner, any snacks that they're having, and anything different. For example, if one day they can't stick to their plan, they're having something different, they can still log that, and I say, okay, well, you've not had this, you've had an alternative meal, then that means for the next few days, can we change something around just to help you stay on track again?
What about in terms of, let's say, working out? Do you tell them exactly what to work out on, like let's just say a push-pull day, etc.?
Yeah.
So is that all written as well? Or?
Yeah. So on the app, it gives them a proper tailored workout plan. So it'll tell them to do an exercise and how many reps to do, how many sets to do, how long your break should be. Basically tells them everything, and they log it, and they can actually rate their workout. They can actually make comments on certain workouts. For example, if I've told a client to do a tricep extension and it's busy in the gym and they can't get into that, then they've got an alternative one to do. They can log that as well to say, yeah, instead of one workout, I've done another workout, and I can basically see, yeah, okay, well, that's fine. I can comment on their workouts.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so man, that's the end of it, man.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure having you on
Thank you very
the
much.
podcast, man. I appreciate it. So all what he's doing is online coaching, etc. Please do check it down. Where can they find you on exactly?
You can find me on Instagram, Usman Aslam. You can find me on Snapchat. You can find me pretty much on all social media as Usman Aslam. TikTok as well.
So is your online coaching, is that a separate website or is that on your Instagram?
You'll all get me through social media. So on TikTok and on Instagram, Usman Aslam.
Okay, that will be all down below. Please do check him out. And yeah, peace out, guys.